Good evening, everyone. It's Sunday night, 10 p.m. Of course, it's the APAT show. Leigh, tonight I feel like a proud father who's handed over the keys of the car to his son, because tonight, my friend, you are indeed driving the show.
Yes, for technical reasons, that is very much the case. What are you going to do with yourself for the next hour and a half?
I've got a pair of hands that are just busy. They're busy on a Sunday night from 10 p.m. They're not going to know what to do, so I'll do my best just to grip white knuckled onto the table here.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be fine. What could possibly go wrong? All the technology in one place. So basically, it's I've got more screens up here than I care to know what to do with. But it's usual Sunday night stuff, Des. And we weren't about last week, obviously, with it being a bank holiday.
Yes.
So we missed out on that. So I suppose maybe the first thing before we go any further is I should just give a little shout out to last week's winners, actually, which was Romain Champy from the UK. 4 cashes last week, topped the table, picked up 3 $5.50 tickets. Kim Callow finished in second. Richard Rudling Smith was in the top 5, as was that pesky Tony Ross that always seems to pick up tickets. Alan Ellis was also in the top 20 last week. So was Gordon MacArthur. Philip Muller from Malta was there as well. Martin Smith from Malta as well. A couple of Maltese players in the top 20 last week, and of course, APAT were out that way last weekend. Richard King also snuck into the top 20. So that was last week, but obviously this week is what we're going to be focusing on tonight. And going into tonight, Richard Rudling Smith is top of the pile. Matthias Dieter's there as well. Tony Ross, Pete Wigglesworth in 4th place. Pete Wigglesworth has already picked up a win tonight. He's won the deep stack at 5 o'clock.
Nice.
So he's already going to have added. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked. Pretty much that will have put him to the top of the table now. Jamie White's also in the mix as well. Aaron's there as well. And Billy Johnson was also in the top 20. Gordon MacArthur. So lots are going for it. Natalie Bromley had a decent cash last night, so she was currently 21st going into the final 4. But it's the usual thing, Des, on a Sunday night. 4 tournaments. Deep stack at 5 o'clock, so that's already concluded. Main event, we are just hit the final table in the main event, so we'll focus on that one pretty much straight away. Down to 7 in the PLO as well. That's paying top 5, and the Turbo Knockout 22 left of the 9. Now, hopefully, Des, at some point on the show, we are going to have one Paul Haycock who's going to join us briefly, because he's got a little England team announcement for the Worlds.
Something of an exclusive, as I understand.
Yeah. But of course, at the moment, we've got to hold on fire there, because he's currently on both final tables of the main events tonight.
Okay.
So he is he's 2nd of 9 in the No Limit Hold'em, and he is 3rd of 7 in the PLO. So going for a double at the moment. But what I'll do, Des, I'll bring up the table. The No Limit table, so as that's already kicked off there, so we can keep an eye on that. Alex Vitter Jr. from Brazil's chip leader in this one. I've got Gary Young's also on here, and Pontus Dahlgren from Sweden, who's a regular APAT player. But that's where we're at. That's what we're going to be doing tonight, guys. So,
fantastically.
Who have we got in the chat?
Lovely stuff. Well, listen, there's a bunch of people out there, so say hello. And we'll give you a bit of a shout out, but somebody who has said hello is one Joe Chilmaid. Leigh, now I've got a Joe Chilmaid story. She and her good man Jason were celebrating their 5th, as I understand it, anniversary last week. They had a bit of a trip to London, to celebrate that, and they did a spa day. Have you ever done a spa day, Leigh?
No, I can't say I have.
I haven't done a spa day, but there was a picture of Jason there. Sort of, he just looked quite relaxed on some sort of really strange sort of chair thing, really laid out, relaxed. Looked like a good thing, but I'm still not sure I would be able to get away with that. But nonetheless, Joe and Jason having a great 5th, and of course, congrats to them. But I photobombed them, Leigh. One of their pictures had my building in the back, and it was on Friday. I was in there, so I like to think there I was photobombing. How small a world indeed do we live in. So Joe is out there. Simon is out there as well. Simon Allen, that is. Hi both. Hi Joe. And there's a bunch of others, but they're all very quiet. They're all very shy at the moment, Leigh.
Oh, that's all right. It's It's early stages in tonight. So we say we're down to 9 in that no limit hold'em. It was paying top 11s. We've already lost a couple, but the guys guaranteed now $90. $746 up top tonight though, Des. So
That's
nice,
all right.
Nice prize up top for that one. The PLO, as I say, is paying top 5. 7 left in that, paying $410 up top as well. So some nice prizes up for grabs tonight.
No, absolutely. Leigh, bit of a sad day. Bit of a sad day. I was in the car a little earlier on with Sian, of course, and I said to her, "Look, it's been a bit of a strange last couple of weeks. No celebs have died, right? Nobody's expired at all. It seems to be so quiet on the dying celeb front, versus a couple of years back when every other week there was a big name going. And then Dennis Waterman,
Yes, I saw that this afternoon.
Minder, of course.
How old
Unfortunately
was he,
passed on.
Des?
I think he was mid-70s.
Okay.
Which, I suppose given the old sheepskin coat and stuff probably adds up. But you don't, because I hadn't seen him for so long, you just don't think of these people being in their mid-70s. But unfortunately, he has passed away, apparently a short illness. But celebs generally doing better this year. I don't know how that's landed with the bookies. Doing better this year than in previous years, which I suppose, if you're not a betting man, is good news.
Yeah, no, that's one way of looking at it, I guess. Just watching the chip leader there, Alex, from Brazil, pocket jacks against the ace king and ace 9, and the jacks are good for Alex. So adds to his chip stat there, and we very quickly go from 9 down to 7 with Gary Young now the short stat. Blinds are at 10,000, 20,000. Gary's playing 130,000, so he's only pretty got 6.5 bigs.
Yeah,
So,
the rich get richer early.
Yeah, very much. So I think we're going to see a little bit of action here quite quickly, because Gary's on 6 bigs, Pontus is on 7 bigs, even Pascal, who's in this hand now, is only 11 bigs. So actually, I would imagine we're going to lose a few quite quickly in this on this final table.
Yeah. Well, listen, Eddie Niascu's come into the chat box and says, evening to you, Eddie. Joe's still there, of course. We obviously knew you were there, so now she thinks I'm some sort of peeping Tom looking out of the big blue glass building across the Thames where Joe and Jason were. Indeed. Lovely part of town, that London Bridge Monument. Leigh, I don't know if you get into London at all, but a really nice part of town.
Oh, well, last time I was in London, I pretty much pulled up at Waterloo, got straight on the underground round to Stratford. Spent a couple of nights in the Premier Inn at Westfield, classy establishment, and then turned around and came back home. That was me. That was my London trip. So.
Well, listen, I think what you've got to do is Jen, right? You've got to speak to Jen, right? Organize a spa day, right? Spa day. What else could we do, guys? Let us know. What could Jen and Leigh do in London apart from a spa day? I mean, they might want to visit the dungeons. That's always a good day out, right? Particularly the very last bit where they put you in a dark room, spray water on you, and you're for sure it's blood, right? You're for sure it's blood. So what can Leigh and Jen do in London, guys?
See me
Let us know.
Spa day somehow. I don't think that's.
You get the old dressing gown, and you get I don't know a buxom wench rubbing your feet or something. I don't know, Leigh. I don't know what happens in there. I've never been.
Wow,
I've never been.
It's, and just as I said, there'll be all ins, and that is very much the case. Gary's got Queen 8. Blind on blind against Alex, the chip leader.
Blimey.
And what a flop for Gary.
Blimey.
Gets a double up through Alex. So Gary's still very much in the game.
You're going to like the timing there.
Yeah, it's I mean, say you're just getting it in and hoping you're good when you're seeing the 8 up against the ace jack. At least you've got live cards. So, and then the flop hits like that. It's very nice.
Listen, Leigh, talking about timing, it has crossed my mind that the World Series of Poker is a little under 4 weeks away.
I know, it's creeping round quite quickly. And of course, new venue, lots of new things going on.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I mean, to see it up on the strip at Bally's and Paris, I think, it's going to be renamed the Horseshoe Bally's. I don't know if that's a long-term thing or just for the next couple of months. Is that a long-term thing?
No, it's a full.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just super exciting. And I haven't really taken a close look at the schedule. I would imagine, you have plans. Do you still have plans to go to Vegas, Lee?
Yeah,
I
no,
know you were going to go in late
all,
June, but
we're all booked up in July. But it's it's very much.
so you're missing out on the series effectively. Is that fair?
We'll catch the end. We'll catch the end of it, I think, pretty much. So yeah, it's.
But it's going to be great. I mean, I'm going to renew my Poker Go subscription because you got to do that for for the 3 months of something. It's an absolute must. You've got to do it. Watch some of those events play through, particularly the main event. Last year they showed day 1 and day 2, and they'd select feature tables and stuff like that, and I thought it really added a great deal to it. Don't think they'd done that before. I think it was a first. I certainly enjoyed it. Now, it has to be said, we were all working from home last year. It was possible to have an iPad on in the background. I don't know if it'll be the same this year, but nonetheless, it'd be good to see. I would imagine there'll be a huge British contingent, Irish contingent there. Probably some of the European players that we're familiar with as well. Be really interesting to see if any of them, manages to catch a big result. I can tell you one APATer, one BCPC player who will be there, Lee, and that is one Todd Wood, English amateur champion, of course. Todd, going back many years ago, a long-term APATer. Todd won BCPC $10,000. I kid you not, main event package today in an event that I think Brian Yates said on Facebook they'd been sort of planning, preparing, taking funds for somewhere in the region of 3 years. Obviously, lockdown in the middle there as well. But Todd went and won that thing today. I think from memory, Brian was one of the final 3 players, as indeed I think was Liam Pickering. So pretty cool win there for Todd.
That certainly wasn't going to be a soft field, was it?
It was never going to be a soft field.
No, definitely not.
And a huge prize. And I think Liam and Brian have also taken sort of smaller Vegas prizes, so they will get to play in some events over there as well. So big contingent go to Vegas, but what an opportunity for Todd to go and play the main event. And hey, Todd is game. Right, you wouldn't be surprised with a fair wind to see Todd go into a day 3 or a day 4, and let's reassess from there.
No, exactly. And if say at the very least, what an experience to get to go and go and play the main event. And just see how it works for you. What can you? You've really got nothing to lose, have you?
Absolutely nothing to lose. Great experience. So Peter Wigglesworth is out there. And where did Gareth Howard finish? I don't know. I don't think he made it through. He obviously didn't make it through to the last day. I don't know if Gareth was playing. I don't know if there's a little rub going on there. But it would have been a small but select field that I think qualified for that event who lined up on Saturday. So if Gaz was in there, I'm not sure. Likewise, how he did. But I would imagine if he was in there, he'd have given it a lot of focus.
Yeah, well, absolutely. When you're playing for something like that, I presume it wasn't just the entry. I presume they built in a little bit of funds for the trip itself as well. So
I would guess so. So. I see one Lou Brushes out there as well, Shug, and Shug I think has mentioned that he has already bought into the seniors and the super seniors. From memory, I think on the Facebook he said he'd done that. So Shug obviously heading over as well, and again, another player who has game enough to really trouble that field. Can't wait. Can't wait.
I know we had the World Series in the autumn, and it was obviously different timing, and they wanted to get one in as quickly as they could once things opened up. But this back in the May, June, July time, this really does feel like it's
it's proper spot.
It's back proper, and of course the first time it will have been in this slot now since 2019. So it's been a fair old time coming, and yes, super exciting. It's great to see lots of players posting up just genuine excitement for the series.
I remember, Lee, I was there back in 2005, and of course the event was held at the Rio, and I was on the strip, and I thought, I know what I'll do now. I need to get down to the Rio. I'll just walk. It's just down the road. I'll just walk down to the Rio. And it felt like it was relatively just down the road, but it was like 55 degrees Celsius. It was like 120 degrees Fahrenheit, Lee. I was walking down the road and I was thinking, what is that hum? what is that noise? You know, you'd walk into a casino to get like a little bit of air conditioning on yourself before you do the next lap of the session, and the noise would go away. And it was just that when you were out there, you were effectively, it was like you were in an oven. You could hear the noise and you couldn't quite figure out where it was coming from. It was
And
the
of course,
heat on your brain.
Vegas is, if you, I mean, I've not been for probably about 5 years now, and the changes in Vegas, you know, the kind of the new sports stadiums that are there now, and of course, I think still going on now is the F1 in Miami, and of course, you know, next year there's going to be Formula One in Las Vegas as well.
Christ,
so
I can't
really
wait.
Proper exciting times.
Cannot wait. Well, listen, Lee, I go to Vegas a lot because obviously I've got a flight simulator, right? So I go there all the time. I fly my own little plane. I like to land on the strip every now and again. I've tried to land under the Fremantle Street canopy. That didn't end particularly well, but yeah, the old place is looking good, Lee.
I'd say it's I say there's also, I think since I was last there, the Genting Resorts World is all opened up, and that's meant to be quite a
yeah, would love to see that
place. Yeah, as well,
definitely worth a visit there.
Listen, while we're looking to see what they're going to do with Bally's as well, because that is going to get a whole kind of revamp, and genuinely curious, obviously, because so many years of it being at the Rio, and everyone just got used to those rooms and the long walk down the corridor to get to that to that area. I say what it's going to be like and feel, because I can't even envisage where the exhibitions kind of areas are at Paris and Bally's, other than that they're out the back somewhere, aren't
they? Well, they're at the back, and apparently at the back there isn't as far away as at the back at the Rio. But if you know, one of the snuck out pictures that I saw on the Twitter is accurate, the bloody carpet. The bloody carpet needs a bit of work, Lee. It was blinding. You know, I could feel an epileptic fit coming on just looking at it.
Oh wow!
It's got to have been there since the mid-70s. I hope they do something about that. So listen, Peter is saying defo it was a rub on Gaz Howard. So he was just basically having one on over on Gaz, and he talks about the Sahara that's reopened as well. There's a great old Vegas brand, the Sahara, reopened. You've got to go and check that out as well, Lee.
Excellent. Well, there's going to be so much. So we're doing about 9 days, I think, in total. So
wow.
I'm not sure whether I'll have much time for poker or just actually enjoying a holiday and a bit of a break.
Will I have to come over to do the show, Lee? Can we expense that? Can we get that past Sanjay?
I actually think the first. I did look at the dates, and I think we're in the air the first Sunday. So, but I am thinking that. Quite possibly we could try and do a bit from Vegas maybe for the second Sunday. That is a possibility. We could do.
If you get some pre-recorded stuff, you can bring that back and we can amuse everybody on your return. That might be the way to go.
And I know, I mean, obviously, the great thing is whatever time you go out series wise, there's so many people out from the UK. And people you know. It doesn't really matter when you head out. There'll always be somebody out there you recognize friendly faces, so it's
100%. Listen, we'd be remiss when talking about the World Series of Poker not to talk about John Murray, Carl Pilgrim, the fantasy World Series of Poker game, which is building its audience as we speak, ahead of the series start. I think the series starts probably around the 28th, 29th of May.
Yeah, it's last week in May, isn't it? Yes.
Last week of May. So if you are minded to, create a bit of engagement through the World Series, then do look for Carl and John's Fantasy Poker World Series of Poker group. I think they've got a group, right? Which they regularly link through our Facebook group, the APAT. I mean, it's largely an APAT group, of course. Look for the links and throw. I don't know what they.
You always know it's happening because I get a message from Carl. All right, mate, you couldn't update the banner for us for another year, and it's like, blimey, it only feels like I did that 5 minutes ago. But yeah, well, I suppose technically it was with it being in the autumn just gone. But so they're all up and running, and it's free. It's great. It's a free pick. So I think you get 10. You can pick any 10 players you like, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's always good fun.
So who would you have, Lee? Who would you have in your team?
I'm not even sure these days. I mean, I suppose you're trying to pick players that you know are going to play a pretty solid schedule. So kind of you always feel like the likes of a Negreanu is a kind of a basic. You need to have him in. I guess Helmuth is another that you would have to kind of say you'd put in there just because he will play the volume. I guess other than that, it's very difficult to know really who's going to have a decent series, and more often than not, it's players that you wouldn't have expected that just get on a bit of run, maybe cash early in a few events, and have then got a bit more of a bankroll and start playing a little bit more. And momentum is quite a key thing, isn't it?
Yeah. What's who's the British guy? The English guy is very, very tall. Stephen Chiddick. That's it.
Yes.
That's right. We kept him off the cover of that Bluff magazine back in 2018.
The trouble with him is
it's a high roller stuff, right?
Play. You don't know whether is he going to play a lot of the other events.
He's massively successful though. I mean, he just tends to always be thereabouts. Very, very impressive. Patrick Leonard, if he's going to go, you'd have a few quid on him. He's gone to Canada now, as I understand it, having won a big chunk on a Stars event last week online. He's gone to Canada, not because of the win. He was planning to go. I don't know if that's just for the summer or if that's a genuine, I'm gone. But any number of British pros could do well there, I'd have thought, and that's what we're looking out for.
And it'll be interesting to see who, after kind of 3 years of no World Series, is back playing a bit. You've seen some names come back in playing poker during lockdown that hadn't played for a little while and just kind of got back in and started playing a little bit more. So and cashing in stuff. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. We are down to 5 in the PLO, so they are all in the money now.
Who have we got over there, Lee?
So Colin Joe is from Canada, is chip leader at the moment, only just, with Thomas Galesnius from Ireland in second place. Mr. Haycock is third in chips. Yanni is fourth. Oh, actually, I say Yanni is fourth. Yanni's just gone chip leader, just won a big pot.
Nice.
Over Colin Joe, who was chip leader, and Christoph Ebler from Austria makes it the 5 there. And obviously Paul is chip leader in what we're watching at the moment, which is the No Limit Hold'em final table as well. So going to be a good night for Mr. Haycock, I think, and hopefully he's going to get on the show at some point to have a quick chat with us about his England picks. So
it should be interesting. Do you have any inside information, Lee? Can you tell us who's been disappointed? Can we just go through a list of the people who really, really tried hard to get on the team and didn't make it?
It would be a very long list, as it always is with any England skipper having to pick a side.
Probably going to start with Gaz Howard, isn't it? Sorry, Gaz. You haven't met it this year, but I want you to keep trying, right? I want you to keep practicing really hard, 9 to 10 hours. I want you to be like the Ronnie O'Sullivan of poker. Just keep practicing hard, lad. You'll make it back in.
Yeah, Gary Young's an absolute heater.
Nice hand.
What did I say?
Nice hand.
6 bigs, 6.5 bigs?
Yeah.
He's just busted another player there now, bust Maximilian Drexel from Germany. So Gary has gone chip leader. Wow, with 4 players left.
That has worked out very well for him, I have to say. Very well. Elon Musk, Lee, since we last spoke, has bought Twitter, as I understand it. I think that's going through. I heard somewhere that there might be some objections, but I think it's going to go through.
I think although there was some objections, I think the way the rulings of it work is I don't think anything can be done. It's not there's nothing regarding kind of any monopoly mergers, anything like that. It's just an outright bot, and once it gets to a certain percentage, I think pretty much it has to go through. So I don't think there's a huge amount anyone can do about it.
Well, I quite like the symmetry of it because there's a lot of astronauts on Twitter already. So the fact that he goes on there, I think feels like a natural circles type of thing. Do you have any thoughts as to whether he'll be good for Twitter or not? He's talking about it's really important to protect the freedom of speech. But what exactly is he saying there? Is he saying that we should let the likes of Trump back, or it's okay to be an anonymous dumbwit, or what?
What I'd love to happen is somebody now to launch a new platform that's pretty much similar to what Twitter does. Everybody close their accounts. Yeah, and
that's never going to
just
happen.
move over to this new platform, and then say, there you go. What are you going to do now? You've just spent however many billions on on nothing. Pretty much.
That doesn't happen though. Although I say that, I think was it News UK that bought MySpace back when it was still worth a lot of money, and overnight the stock just dropped.
Yeah, it can happen. It's a really weird one because yes, okay, Twitter's got a value in the same way Facebook and all these things do. I don't, it's one of those. I don't know quite how you can put a value on what exactly it is worth to him when he's claiming he's doing it more to protect, as you say, freedom of speech and wanting to make sure that there is a platform because that's the future. I don't see the future being played out on Twitter, but maybe I'm getting past it to understand.
Yeah, I mean,
really
when I've compared the price of advertising on Twitter in comparison with the price of advertising on Facebook, I mean, Twitter is incredibly expensive in comparison. So I don't know how he makes his money off of it, to be honest.
No, and I don't know what you're like, but unless you're on Twitter, all the time, most stuff can just pass you by. I mean, poker Twitter is a perfect example of that. If you're not on there for a few days, kind of reading it all kicked off. I think it was yesterday or over women in poker, and I don't even know what started it. I've no idea what started it, but there was a Daniel Negreanu post, but I don't think that can't be what actually started it. But that led on to further discussion, and it's just like, wow, you can miss, so these things can pass you by completely. As we're down to 3 in the No Limit Hold'em now.
The thing is, if you filter your the people you're following and stuff like that, right? If you follow the right people and filter them appropriate and stuff, it is actually possible to get proper insight on topics that you're interested in. You just got to try and block out all of the noise around it, and that is possible on Twitter. Providing you just don't engage with the trolls and you don't follow them and stuff like that. It is sort of possible. Just through you can create your own feeds, which sort of makes it possible.
I think Dean Egg's comment. I don't think this was the start of the conversation. I'm assuming it was his view on a discussion, but he came out with something along the lines of suggesting that there were no more women wanting to play poker now than there were when he started in 1996 or something. He's saying he hasn't seen a demand go up. So why is there always this constant push for getting more women into the game and getting more female poker players? When he said it just isn't. He said he hasn't seen the
demand
peak or anything. It just hasn't moved in 20 odd years, in his opinion. Obviously, it's everyone piled into it, but he's perfectly entitled to make his view on what he's seen, and he's saying just doesn't see anything more. It's been the same sort of percentages 20 years ago as it is now, so which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say, I might be wrong in this, but I can't say I've seen a surge of recreational women players. Certainly the women players that were playing 10, 15 years ago, I think are still very much playing today. A lot of them, certainly the ones that we're familiar with, but I'm not sure I've seen a lot of new lady players come in. Not quite sure why that is, because poker is a great game, but I don't think it helps itself from time to time with some of the stories that tend to lead on poker. They can be a bit grimy.
Yeah, Twitter leads. I mean, I think there was one of the floor staff from Vegas. She posted a tweet saying that pretty much every single day she sees sexual harassment, was her description of it. In the card rooms, and that got me thinking. And there was a whole lot of response from people on that, and people basically, a number of poker players saying, well, I've played for 20 years and I've not witnessed anything. And they're saying, well, if you haven't, you're just blind to it. And I thought it did get me thinking. I think, well, I've played a fair bit of poker over the years, and I can't really remember any instances of female poker players or staff of anything that I would consider to be.
The point is, you're not a female poker player, right?
No, well, exactly.
They're going to be they're going to be at that table every time.
But it got me thinking that as APAT, we kind of pride ourselves on being open, and anyone should be able to come and play. It doesn't matter, age, gender, or anything. But it did give me thinking, well, does it go on and just oblivious to it, or it's not raised, or you don't realize?
I think we'd know.
Yeah.
I think we'd know, because I think we're super open as a community. I think we're a little bit different. So I'd like to think if any woman did get sexually harassed or had a bad experience generally at one of our events, that they'd actually just come and say something to one of us.
Yeah,
That would be my hope.
Because
they'd get a very sympathetic ear for sure, and they'd get quite instant action.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was interesting. But it obviously, the thing is, it's very difficult. Say Twitter's very quick to just pretty much gaslight anybody that has a different opinion to whoever's reading it. So it's difficult to know.
Yeah, I tell you, go Leigh.
I was just going to say, we're just to update. It's on the screen so you can watch it.
Yeah,
but we are heads up in this No Limit Hold'em. Gary Young finished in third place for $302, and so it is heads up. Paul Simon.
I'm going to Gracelands
versus Pontus. Pontus was one of the short stacks as well going into this final table. Pontus from Sweden.
He's got a hell of a record here with APAT, hasn't he, Pontus?
Really has. Yeah, really consistent player. And Paul is also 4th of 4 in the Omaha as well, so he's in the money in that as well. So it's going to be a profitable night for Mr. Haycock, however this ends up. But I'm sure he would quite like the $746 up top here.
Oh, absolutely.
Second place is 465, so they're playing for about $280 here.
So you're telling me, Leigh, that if I give him a quick call and offered him like a smart 250 to forget the fact that I'm Irish, to try and get that last spot in the English team, that you're telling me 250 wouldn't get it done?
Probably wouldn't get it done at the moment.
Oh no,
it's all about value, and he's not going to see the value in that.
What do I got to go to 300? You reckon 300 and I don't know, a favor maybe or something? I don't know.
300 might do. Well, Paul started this heads up with about a 2-1 chip lead. He's now extended that to about just over 3-1. So he's in a good place here.
Yeah.
Let's see whether Pontus can fight back. Blinds are 17.5, 35,000. So got a bit of play in this.
Listen, Leigh, you'll find this amusing. I had a chat with a fellow Liverpool fan a couple of evenings ago, right, on the Twitter, and there was a simple discussion around looking for a ticket for the last game of the season. Got a ticket for Wembley, right? And I said, well, I might be able to work. I might be able to work with you on that. And he said, might be just a tad over, just a little bit over the face value of the Wembley ticket. I said, yeah, okay, that could work. That could work. Got the Wolves ticket. That's fine. I said, how much? How much a little bit over the face value? He said, well, about 350. I'm paying about 350. You got to pay about 350 for it. And I said, what's the face value? And he went 45. I said, GFY, my friend, GFY.
Yeah.
I'll stand outside.
Wow, that's ridiculous. When you say last game of the season, that was a little while ago. So a couple of months back, the last games of the season. The season's done. Yeah?
Yeah, the season's over. Season's over, Leigh.
Season's done, isn't it? Yeah.
I hear your boys were at the seaside recently. The season is done, right?
Yeah. They just popped down for donkey rides and some ice cream and that
for a bit of Brighton Rock.
Yeah.
and boy, did they get it.
Just shocking. Do you know I used to run Saturday and Sunday league teams just for fun up in kind of Winchester area where I used to work, and we put a work side together. I used to work for a subsidiary of Thames Water, and the guys in the factory were like, well, let's put a team together. I said, yeah, I'll get involved in this. When I was training as an accountant, and so I ended up kind of running the team and doing all this. And we'd rock up on a Saturday afternoon, and there were times where we only had maybe eight or nine players that bothered to show, and we'd get a bit of we'd get a bit of a kick in, But
I see where you're going with this.
We saw the season out, and it was I never was embarrassed about that whatsoever. Watching United at the moment is way more embarrassing than getting stuffed double figures on a Saturday afternoon in a amateur league. And what we saw on the weekend was just
Or was it 4-0 in the end? Could have been a few more.
Oh, it wasn't even the scoreline, Des.
Yeah.
It was the manner of what happened. I think when the third one went in, it panned to Ronaldo, who's just literally smiling.
I heard he's having a smile. I didn't see it. Listen, Lee, talking about heroes, and just giving you a little bit of relief from the United story. Gary McBride's in the chat. Gary, of course, hero of APAT London recently, 3rd place finish, made some big money for himself and Dad Ken. Gary's only in Vegas. And we were just talking about Barley's and Paris and all of that stuff in the World Series of Poker. Gary pops in and says, hello, just wanted to say hi all the way from Barley's Poker Room in Vegas.
Awesome.
Lucky lad. Lucky lad in Vegas. Hope you're having a cracking time, Gary.
Be about what, 2 in the afternoon, 2:30, something like that?
Yeah,
is it
perfect time.
Hours? Yeah,
be getting set for a big night, I'm sure. Bit of poker now, bit of a bit of share, you reckon, later? Share?
Yeah.
The MGM or something. She's still there.
Has Adele started
Adele, I think she's doing warm-ups in Peckham or something. You can't listen. You can't buy an Adele ticket for love nor money, Lee.
Adele said, I'm not going to start my residency until APAT are back over here. I'm not prepared to do it.
That's right.
She's delayed it until.
Listen, you might as well be chasing pavements. Trying to get an Adele ticket. It's just not going to happen. Gary, tell us who's over there with you and what the plan is for tonight. We want to know. We're a little bit jealous. Send us a picture. We'll feature it on the show next week. I would love to do that.
I'd love to know how. That's what happens, folks. You finish 3rd in an APAT London event, and next thing you know, you're on a plane to Vegas. It's, that's what it's all about. This heads up is looking very, very dodgy for Pontus now. Lost a number of smaller pots, and Paul has a absolutely huge 20-1 chip lead here.
I think Pontus is looking at a bridge over troubled water there, Lee. I don't think he's going to get this done.
No, he is looking like the boxer on the ropes, very much. But he does win that one hand there.
Oh, he's still crazy, Lee. After all of these years, unbelievable, sir.
Yeah, it is, and then clearly, it's absolute sound of silence from the chat. They're clearly not impressed with our commentary here.
I think we're going to move on.
All in, but I mean, to fair play to him, he's actually, he's not hanging about here. He's getting his chips in. I guess it's just Paul's just waiting for a spot to say, okay, I'll have a stab at this and see if we can get this over with. They're both going to see a flop here. That's not what you want, is it? 9-7. Paul fires that and wins that. So, but yeah, Pontus hasn't given up yet, though.
No, but he is still just a poor man, Lee. His story's seldom told.
Here we go. Here we go. King 9 versus
here we go.
6-5. 6-5 needs to hit.
Oh,
and it does on the river. How many times do we see that?
Dear.
Double up for Pontus. But with blinds at 20,000, 40,000, say it puts him at now 11 bigs. So, yeah, but how many times do we see a river hit on this side?
But that's not just an ordinary river. That was a good shot, sort of straight draw.
Yeah, it does happen.
You take it. Listen, Lee, I have got a wonderful movie recommendation for you. I don't know if you have Prime. Do you have Prime?
Yes, yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay. Watch something a little earlier on this evening called The Aeronauts.
Okay.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
It's all in again. Ace 10 versus King Jack. What?
Whoa.
What? The king.
He's done it again. No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't, because Paul's made the
oh my giddy aunt. Wow.
So, yeah, so we are done with
wow.
with that, and we'll get the PLO up as quickly as I can. Bear with me for a second, and I'll load that one up. That's all done. So Paul takes the win there, picks up $746 for his trouble. Very nice. Well done to Pontus. He picks up $465 in second place there, and we'll get the PLO up. So 4 players left in the PLO. Yanni is currently chip leader in this one.
It's like deja vu in here.
Deja vu, because Paul is third in chips in this particular one. So the guys are all guaranteed $110 in here, $410 up top. So yes, so the film recommendation then, Des. So it's
The Aeronaut, beautiful story. Production value is very high. About I don't know, the 1860s, 1870s. It's about a balloon, right? And the objective is to get that balloon as high into the air as you can do, to
yes,
get some weather information, insight.
Who's in it?
Redmayne, Eddie. Is it Eddie Redmayne, the bloke?
Actress?
I'm going to say Fiona something. Wood? Could it be Wood? I'm not entirely sure. I hadn't recognized her. I have to say, I didn't know her.
I saw the they might have been on some, I don't know, something like Graham Norton or something talking about this.
She did a smashing job. Absolutely fabulous.
When it first came out in the cinemas, I think. Yeah. So,
yeah. This is a classic film where you know, somebody will tell you, well, it's about a balloon going up in the air, and you sort of think to yourself, right, well, they can't really get anywhere in that particular story, so I'm not going to watch. Actually, they managed to tell a cracking yarn, so it is definitely worth a watch. Very very
so
feel
we just
good.
lost Paul in fourth place as soon as we went to that final table of the PLO. He's bussed in fourth, picking up $110, but that adds to his 746.
I think he's done all right there. Did you pull the lever, Lee? Did you pull the lever to get him on at the end of the show?
Yeah, so we've got him busto, so we can do that. So Yanni's chip leader now in the PLO, and we're down to 11 in the turbo knockout as well. Let's see who we've got on that. Adam Smith is there. Jay White is there. Mr. Wigglesworth is 7th of 11 on that one as well. Calvin Davis from Canada is in there as well. So yeah, good few players still in that particular one. So
Paul is in the chat saying the final hand there on the No Limit Hold'em table. Good enough for TV? I'd have said so.
I reckon so.
I'd have said so. I think too right. Simon Allen says rigged in it. Well, yes. I mean sometimes you got to rig it.
Even if they had chips and it hadn't all gone in by the time it got to the turn,
it was happening.
Pontus has made the straight, and Paul's filled the boat. You kind of know what's coming, don't you? Really
can't do anything. Listen, Yanni, you'd say the best player in Ilfracombe at the moment, Lee?
Oh, a bit regular, consistently.
I think so.
It has been for a while. Yeah, to be honest.
Good to see it, right? You gotta love that. Ronnie O'Sullivan. Since we last spoke, he's won the world snooker title for the 7th time.
Incredible.
It's pretty insane, really.
Is that the oldest?
Yes, it is. He's 46 or 47 or something?
I mean, that's ridiculous. How can Ronnie O'Sullivan be 46? Yeah.
Listen, I saw Ronnie play as a 10-year-old at Ilford Snooker Club when I first came to England. And I used to, get the 86 bus up to Ilford with Ken Doherty, believe it or not, going back to 1988, I'm going to say. Incredible player. I met his dad at Ilford as well. His dad was a very, very funny man, very, very riotously funny, until he ended up in prison, of course, for murder. But lovely to see the family together, the dad, the two kids, and Ronnie, on winning this thing at Sheffield last week. I mean, how does he keep it going? How does he beat a player like Trump? Incredible.
Yeah, absolutely superb. And when you think that he's fallen in and out of love of the game on regular occasions, it's pretty phenomenal, isn't it? Really,
it certainly is.
And
listen, Lee, I think we've got a guest. I think we've got a potential.
Just as I as I say that, have I?
Oh, we've gone dark. It's gone dark in here. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Guten Tag, sir.
How do?
Yeah, good to see you on, Paul. How are things?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Things are okay. The double would have been nice, wouldn't it?
It would have been incredible. Have we had a double winner, Lee?
No.
I'm not sure whether we have on a Sunday night.
I
know Scousers did a double once. I think maybe when we were doing poker squads or something like that. But I don't think we've had anybody do the double on a Sunday night. I've had a double on a Saturday night, won both events, but not the Sunday night. It's a tricky one to do. It really is. And that was
got it in so good in the PLO as well. Kind of annoying, but I'll take first and fourth.
Yeah. Listen, before we move off of the snooker, Triplin is out there. Jimmy White, one frame away from a fourth seniors title at the moment. So the seniors title, the seniors championship, ran straight after the main snooker world championship, and Jimmy White on the edge. Incredible.
Wow, it's pretty impressive.
Oh,
Bear with
Leigh,
me a
we've
minute
lost
whilst
you.
yeah,
What
I'm
has
out of
Jen turned the light off?
Yeah,
What
I'm
was
out
that
of the
to
camera.
save
Hopefully you can still hear
save
me,
on
but
on
I will
cost of living,
roll.
Paul? That's what's going on there.
I think it's because Leigh and I are actually the same person. It's done with mirrors, so you can only ever have one of us on at any one time.
Yeah, just it gets to the point that this time of night endorse it now that we're done. That's
it. That's it. I absolutely. Listen, Paul, I don't know if you heard what I said when you were sort of finishing off that PLO table. 300. Would that get me a shot at the England team? 350 maybe.
300 and a different passport.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We can't get over that.
In fact,
can't get over that. Maybe this once.
No, that's what I'll do. That's the deal we can do. I'll get you in my England team if you give me your Irish passport, and then I can win.
No, I'm going to pass. I'm going to
travel freely through the EU then, and
I can put on a Brummie accent if you want. I can pretend I'm from the BCPC.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. Come on. No, it's not a very good Brummie accent.
Absolute rub, by the way, from Wiggle Vision earlier on.
I saw that on Gaz Howard, right?
He knows full well that Gaz bubbled the Vegas seats in the.
Did he bubble? Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, nightmare! I didn't know that. That's a nightmare. Yeah, well, he's top two-lane, I would say. So, listen, Leigh told me earlier on. He said Paul's going to come on. He's going to announce his England team. There's been a couple of changes. So, what can you tell us?
Leigh told him about his massive spoiler that he did earlier on, because I heard that as well.
No, he didn't. I mean, I didn't get any names or anything.
I didn't. I just whooshed the whole lot. So you're all
okay. Good. Yeah. So what happened? And we've been waiting for 2 years for this, right? So
I know. Yeah.
It's well done on getting the dates out, and it's fantastic that it's we finally got confirmed dates for it, and looking forward to it, and it's going to be great. But I have lost 50% of my team, so two people couldn't make the final dates. One for better reasons than the other. So Dave can't make it. He's got a work commitment.
Dave who?
Dave Garden. So my original team was myself, Jen Mason, who was my captain's pick. You remember I had one that I chose myself, and then applications for the other two. So the two that I chose first time around were Dave Garden and Wigglesworth, of course. Pete can still make it, and so can I, but Dave can't because of work reasons, and Jen can't make it for good reasons because she's in Vegas. So
can't argue with that.
So that's no problem at all. So I went back to the original applications and spoke to a bunch of people, and so the people that will replace those two. So the captain's pick was always a flip really between Jen and Tom Bacon. So Tom is coming into the team in the
good choice.
Block.
Good choice.
So that's going to be good. Not put off by the fact that he's done 4 bullets at the Coventry Deep Stack this weekend. That's irrelevant.
Detail.
That's okay. And then just to follow up on your epic spoiler earlier on, Des, the final place is Mr. Gaz Howard.
Oh, really? How did I spoil that?
You were saying, yes, definitely not going to be Gaz. Gaz definitely isn't coming into the England team after he bubbled the PC thing. But actually, you've stumbled across the truth, Des.
I did. I'm sure I didn't say Gaz wouldn't be an England team. I'm sure I didn't. I didn't make that link at all.
That was exactly what you said. You said, well, Gaz,
did I?
We were talking about, have we got a list of those that aren't going to make it? And you said Gaz will be first on that list.
Did I? Oh, my giddy aunt. There you go. That's the genius. That's the warrant-errant genius that is within me. Well, listen, Gaz is a great pick, right?
He is, yeah. He's... He won't mind me saying this because I've said it to him. He's a high variance pick, is Gaz. But if we're gonna win the thing, then you need a bit of that, right? So he played in the counties for a team that I picked a little while ago, and we needed him to win his final single table tournament to get through to day 2, and he did, and absolutely steamrolled everyone. So more of the same would be nice, please.
Well. Just talking on Gaz, it came up in my Facebook memories yesterday or today. Gaz made a post about being on the APAT show. I'm going to say 2 years ago, either yesterday or today. And he was brilliant on it. He was really, really good. He came across fantastically. He was a little nervous going on, but, he just swam into it. He was brilliant.
Puts on a better West Midlands accent than you as well.
I have to say, not surprising. not surprising, given the advantage he has over me. So what do you think then will Tom Bacon bring to the team? If Gaz is going to bring variance, what will Tom bring?
Hopefully about like 100 points, like he did in the APAT, the APAT show team thing, which we won. No pressure on Gaz, of course, but of course, last time I was in a team with Pete Wigglesworth and Tom Bacon, we did win the whole thing.
Yeah, so, that's a good point.
The weakest link clearly is Gaz if we don't win it. No, I'm super happy with the whole team. It's nice that we've got options in terms of the PLO and the heads up as well. Pete plays a lot of 08, so and I don't, frankly, I could step into the high low if I needed to, but Pete's far and away a better 08 player than I am. Me and Tom can both pick up the PLO. Gaz is pure hold'em. And I might give him one of the heads up games as well. So not feeling good about it. The only slight downside, obviously, it's a shame that Jen and Dave not make it. Also slightly sad that I've ended up with an all male team because I didn't really want that. But you pick the best players that are available, right? So looking forward to it even more than I was before. And it's weeks rather than months away now, right? So
did you mention the postponement to him yet, Lee?
Oh, it's 2025 now.
Yeah, we've pushed it back to late August.
Yeah,
we saw there was a gap. We saw there was a gap in late August. We thought let's move it.
But just
not really.
But just for the England team, everybody else is still going in July, but the England are invited in August. Got it.
Well, listen, talking about,
you're right, though, Paul. It's kind of, we're in May now, aren't we? But before we know it, it's gonna be coming round, and hopefully we'll start getting other teams kind of confirming their final fours and getting that all up and running. Obviously, the schedule's out there now as well, and it won't be long before we're kind of announcing how you can buy into events and getting some satellites up and running and that kind of thing. So it's going to be exciting times ahead.
Listen, Paul, I want to tell you, you might have your first issue to sort out in team because Gaz has just slid into the chat box and he's responded to Peter Wigglesworth's little barb by saying, what did he say? What have I? Where the hell's that gone to? In what? So where Peter said, where did Gareth Howard finish? Gaz has gone in what? So we didn't see it as a bar.
Gaz, don't rise to it. Just let him do that. I don't need any discord in my team.
They're already at each other's throats. It's just a matter of time before you get a full disintegration. Like, to be honest, we used to get before every major football tournament within the England camp. Lovely to see. You won't be able to get them to sit together in Nottingham by the time you get there. It's looking good for everybody else. Tris says, still a solid team. Good luck to the guys in Nottingham. Eddie says, Paul, you lost me. Who's on your team? I like to make my plans. So Eddie's making a late application to get on the team. I think he's a no-brainer. Can we have Eddie in instead of Gaz? Get Gaz out. You don't need variance.
No, I think
Eddie is a fellow captain because I'm assuming he's captaining aside. So Eddie's if you're not plans against you.
If you're not going to pay attention, Eddie, I'm not going to repeat myself. To be honest, you are basically the enemy now, right? So
listen, Eddie said, "Listen, thanks, Paul, for the update." He's wrote those names down. It'll be on the Hendon Mob website. Just looking at the glorious returns.
Checking for any Romanian parentage or something that
I think he'll be checking for any professional. Potential status players that you might have in there.
Oh, there's definitely not
that. Simon says, both Tom and Gaz are great picks. Disappointed to lose my role as last-minute Jen Mason stand-in, though. It's all going off in the chat box. What's
spare
this?
Jen. Sorry, Simon. I forgot you were spare Jen.
So as I see it here, Simon, was promised a pick, but he had to pull out at the last minute because of a dentist appointment or something, and you've had to get one of the other. So somebody's like third or fourth pick in there. Come on, which one of the two is it?
I had, clearly I'm not going to say it. I had 30 applications. Bearing in mind, I'd ruled out literally over 100 people by saying I wasn't going to pick anybody that's played for England before. So I didn't get all of the people that you'd usually expect to apply.
Dave Green, not Dave Garden or... Dave Garden. Had he not played for England before?
No.
Really?
No,
He
no,
was
no,
a main
sure,
event winner,
no,
wasn't
no,
he?
sure of that.
Going back in the.
And there was one person as well that I really wanted and considered for the captain's pick amongst Jen and Tom as well. But I found out that he played for like the first international event ever, so that ruled him out as well. So I was very diligent and stuck to my rules. None of those people have. Obviously, I break my own rule because this will be my fourth. But captain's privileges. So
Eddie's come back and
right.
says Danny Strangescu.
That's right.
Will be on my.
That's
team,
right. That
so,
well-known Romanian player.
Yeah.
Hello, mate. Danny Strangescu is in fact a Romanian pick. He's a good player.
But Des, what Eddie doesn't realise is if Danny does make it on the team, it'll be Eddie. I've got 40 mates at the bar. Can we get them into this team as well? Is that possible?
Right. They all want a shirt.
Will that be okay?
That's right. They all want a yellow shirt.
Yeah.
The drunker the better. The drunker the better.
Oh, fantastic! Can't wait. It's not long now, Lee. It's not long now.
So a bit of a disappointing. We're all in a show group, and it was quite a depressing football weekend for just about everybody in the group.
It really was.
At the weekend.
Yeah.
It was
literally everybody's team lost.
I think I totted up, Paul, before the Liverpool result, so before Des joined the party, so to speak. I think was it the aggregate score of the 4 teams or whatever was something stupid like 13-2 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Aggregate defeat.
Yeah, we got Burnley in there. We got Walsall, obviously. We had your lot. We had your lot. Middlesbrough, Stu was in there. They didn't do great. It was really bad. Yeah. The story of the weekend, though, which you haven't talked about yet, or I haven't heard you talk about, the League Two promotion outcome.
Northampton and Bristol Rovers.
Did you see that?
Absolutely insane. 7-0. I mean, what the hell?
Were you watching BT Sport score on Saturday afternoon?
No.
So huge Northampton Town fan is
really?
The ref Peter
Walton. Peter Walton.
That's
Peter
it.
Walton.
Yeah. And of course they're all in the studio. Robbie Savage is absolutely ripping into him, going, "Come on, Bristol Rovers, get another goal," and they kept cutting back to him, and he's on his phone, and his face is just, he was just gone completely by the end of it. And it got to after and even Robbie Savage actually going, I feel a bit bad about it now, really. But the goal swing was just insane, wasn't it?
Yeah, they needed to win by 5 more than Northampton did, and Northampton won 3-1, and Bristol needed 7 and got them.
Yeah, I mean, insane,
ridiculous, absolutely.
Listen, talking about just ridiculous. One Tristan Chaplin Haji is in the chat box saying, "Eddie, did you know I had a Romanian great grandmother?" That's Tristan Chaplin Haji. Who goes on to say, "Sigh, please, no more football," which is quite the change.
Tris, football season ended months ago. I told you this, honestly.
Void the league.
Yeah, it's just.
I tell you, were they not a couple of ridiculous Champions League semi-finals? I don't know if either of you watched them, but were they not a couple of ridiculous Champions League semi-finals?
I mean, as entertainment goes, I think all 4 games. So the 2 legs of each of them was just incredible. I did feel Man City were a little bit robbed of a final place. Real Madrid just somehow managed to pull something out of the bag when they need to.
What a referee!
Are you confident for the final now, Des, or not?
You can never be confident about a European Cup final, but I feel better about playing Real Madrid than I would have about playing Man City, even if you take it down to the degree of saying, would I rather lose to Man City or Real Madrid? I feel comfortable at all levels with Madrid.
But the refereeing in that second leg, City versus Real Madrid, was bizarre at times. It was really, really peculiar. And even the fact that he blew up about 10 or 15 seconds before the 3 minutes was up at the end. It was
it's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Just loved that. I felt so good about that. I have to say, and I said it to somebody, I felt more elated after that last 3 minutes or 4 minutes of the City Madrid game, you know, where Madrid scored twice before extra time started, than I did for Liverpool's entire April set of results, which is mad. Shouldn't be that way, but I was elated that City got knocked out.
But so would you be happy, content with the 3 cups, if that's what it is?
Are you crazy? It'd be mad contented. I mean, I don't think we'll win all 3. You know, really? I mean,
you think
sorry,
Chelsea
no.
could, yeah.
I think we could lose to either a Chelsea or a Madrid for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the league is. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say it's gone, but expectations are on the floor there. That's it. No disappointment. That's that.
The reality is now you need City to drop points in 2 games, really, don't they? Not just lose one, because they've now got a decent goal difference over you as well. So
yeah, but I think if they lost one, we'd go back ahead on goal difference. But yeah, I think you've got to get them to lose. I mean, obviously 2 draws would be nice, but what have they got? 3 games left? Can't see it happening. So I'm not, you know, as far as I'm concerned, that'd be a super bonus. The focus should be on the cup final next Saturday. I think it'd be great for Liverpool to win that. I think they've got a decent chance, although Chelsea have played very well against Liverpool this season. Chelsea have certainly gone off the boil, which is not to say that they won't be dangerous in a you know, a cup final. And then Madrid is, you know, that would be a dream way to finish the season.
Madrid are already resting players.
Yeah, but no surprise. Spanish teams always do that.
Atletico Madrid tonight, and everyone was rested.
But I mean, it's way too early to rest them, right? The final's on the 28th, so it's 20 days away. So you got to keep them in rhythm.
But they've got nothing to play for either, have they? Because they've won the title.
Yeah, so. but you know, didn't Spurs go through that a bit when they played Liverpool in the final 2 years ago? They didn't have a game for 2 to 3 weeks in advance. Liverpool, I think, organized a couple of friendlies or something. Don't know if it made a huge amount of difference, but
don't say that, because we don't play for another 2 weeks before we play our crunch game against Crystal Palace.
I don't think it'll make any difference.
So don't because we're vying. If we're not careful, there's a possibility we could end up 7th.
Yeah,
and then we get into a very rare European competition for next season. I don't think Liverpool even have ever been in.
Conference.
You'll be quite jealous, I'd imagine.
What is that, Friday night football?
I don't know when they play it, to be honest.
Okay, I'll give you a million guesses as to what I'm doing to make me miss the Champions League final.
Oh, on the Saturday the 28th.
Yes. Schoolboy era. I am going to a Pet Shop Boys gig.
Oh, sweet Jesus! What?
And that's so different from my normal musical taste. But it's one of these things.
It's a sin. Yeah.
I said, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, insert your puns there. Yeah, yeah. I think we're supporting from as well. Me and Art Garfunkel. So I've got no choice.
Right. Nice. Can't you just give the ticket away, Paul, or is that proved impossible?
It's a long-standing friend. We've had these tickets for 2 years. It's been cancelled twice because of COVID, and they put it back.
Seriously, Des, don't even start, because you would not believe the hassle we've gone through to book a Vegas trip, and Paul's on.
I can imagine.
Oh well, I can't do that because I've got a long-standing 2 years gig tickets.
Yeah,
and I can't. I can't do that.
The only thing that I can hope is that you're not subjecting your son. I want to say Ben.
Yeah, I've got my eldest is Ben.
I've seen a lovely couple of photos of you and Ben at events recently.
Yeah, it was his birthday in the week. He was 15 on Wednesday.
Okay, I just hope you're not subjecting him to the Pet Shop Boys at such a young age, fragile age. No.
Des, I haven't listened to the Pet Shop Boys for 20 years. It was one of those things. It seemed a good idea at the time when we booked it 3 years ago. And now
missing the Champions League final, right?
Potentially the best Champions League final of all time. But
I think there'll be goals. It's going to be
like 11-6, right? I mean, it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to miss it because I'm going to be singing Suburbia.
Well, listen, a couple of hours before the second leg of the semi-final, the Tuesday night against Villarreal, I turned to Sean and I said, Sean, do me a favor there. Just pop on the old, Sky Scanner, get me a ticket to Paris. And she looked at me. She gave me that look that we're all familiar with that said, nah, I don't think so. And she said, no, you're not going to Paris. So I smiled and played along and got into the game. And of course, at one point, we're joking between us at halftime. Good job you didn't buy those tickets, Sean, because we ain't going. But at the end, I said, look, we're in trouble now. The tickets have gone up by £500, and it's going to be an absolute disaster. So I haven't got tickets yet, but I've decided this year I'm just going to do another adventure, right? So I'll get a flight to somewhere in Europe.
You're going to do another Moscow?
Yeah, we'll get a flight to somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where, north, south, probably not too far east if we can avoid it, but just get a car and then drive for 7 or 8 hours through the night, a bit of live updating as we go. Why not?
But can you not just, Paris is hardly difficult to get to, and old Clippity Clop's already pretty much told everyone to turn up whether you got a ticket or not, because he says Paris
we're going
big.
There's no we're going,
apparently that was his comment after he came out with another whingy moany thing about where are all the tickets.
Well, where are all the tickets?
Seriously, I know you love the guy to bits, right? But trust me, I have never known a manager to whinge and moan as much as Klopp does since Fergie. Yeah, all right.
That's fantastic.
And the point is, and it's why I probably get so irate about it, is because I see so much Ferguson in Klopp. I know you disagree, but he's so good at deflecting stuff away from the team and this, that, and the other. His post-match interview last night was, you'd have thought you'd won 5-0 the way he was talking. It was incredible.
The thing I'm chuckling at, did you see that just then? Some absolute next level shithousery from Yanni on this table. He's got a 1/10 of a big blind and he's just time bank checked the flop and then folded.
And he's now bust. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's now bust.
That is some classic shithousery.
That's Yanni, the former best player in Ilfracombe.
You love to see it.
That's too funny.
So we're heads up. Colin Joe, who actually was chip leader earlier on, then lost a big hand against Yanni, I think when you were about 5 or 6 handed, and went down to one of the short stacks, but is now is back up there. And Thomas G from Ireland could have an Irish winner here tonight. Possibility.
Look, I can't talk about the Irish guy at the moment. I'm just wondering whether Colin Joe is in fact 2 blokes multi-accounting.
There is a possibility they could be ghosting each other. There is that.
They're just full of frog poison as we speak. Yeah. Just plain high on frog poison. Do you have any idea what we're talking about here, Paul?
Friend of the show.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Friend of the show, Dan Williams, went live on Twitch earlier on, just before we came on the show, with the tagline. Was it? I've been bitten by a meerkat today. It's not a frog, but let's see how it goes. Excellent. Yeah.
Who's your shaman, Paul? Do you have one?
That band that did Ebenezer Good and Move Ebenezer Mountain.
Yeah.
That was quick enough.
Will he be Glenn Hoddle style, consulting with the team as you line up at Dusk Till Dawn? Your shaman?
Yeah. I'm making Gaz go vegan. GL me.
Fantastic.
Is that just for the week, or is it going to be?
Well, let's see how it goes. It could work for us.
Yeah. This I've got to see. This I've got to see. Is it any wonder he couldn't find a woman to play on the team, Leigh? That's all that I've got to say.
Well, explain that comment.
It's a really difficult one, and it comes back to what I was talking about earlier on about the Daniel Negreanu stuff on Twitter this week. Because you do go out with the best of intentions. Not that Paul, isn't going to pick the best players available, but there is this thing. You do want to try and kind of have a balanced team, and
yes,
and it's either the kind of the conversations that go on. Certainly with the England skipper, it's just ridiculous the decisions that you have to make, and the players that you don't select, and even trying to then explain to them why you've not picked them. I mean, not that they want an explanation.
There are loads of really, really good female players who play APAT, but a lot of them are either not English or have already played for England or weren't available at the time. And I'm not going to not give place to someone who deserves it to continue into positive discrimination and all the rest of it, which is let's have a debate about that. But anyway, I've ended up with an all-male team, which is not my preference, but I'm super happy with it. So
absolutely, and lots of ladies have played for England. Lots of them have done.
And
how did Craig McInnes take his lack of selection?
Canadian Craig McInnes.
Sorry, no, I meant Scottish Craig McInnes.
Yeah.
Okay, the new.
Oh, like Scottish Joe Chilmaid, which is another one who would have.
Yeah, but she's got, but she's only played for Scotland, right?
Yeah, no, she's only,
yeah.
I think
you can tell from the strong Scottish accent. Yeah,
I think
she
Craig's won the rainbow.
I know.
High Scottish pedigree, I think is fair to say. It is fair to say that.
Oh, I tell you.
So this heads up's going. We're still 5-handed in the turbine. I know you only were popping in for a quick chat, Paul. So if you do need to go at any time,
I could take a hint. Yeah, I'll go.
Don't feel to stay to the end.
Stay, Paul, please.
No. I've done my bit. I get it.
You're more than welcome to hang on to see who's going to end up top of the lead. Although I think I probably know who's going to be top of the leaderboard ladders. I think looking at the players that we've got left in the mix.
Well, Paul's had to have had a good night tonight, Leigh, for points.
How will it be your only? Will it be your only points?
Don't
say that could be good enough to get him in the top 20, you reckon?
Oh, it'll get you in the top 20 for definite. Yeah, it'll pick you up. You'll pick up a ticket for sure. But I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty certain that no one is going to catch Mr. Wigglesworth this week.
It's good results for Peter.
He's had 5 caches this week. He just finished 6th in the knockout, the final one of the night. Final one of the
everyone's coming into form at the right time, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because we love Pete winning because he's a step winner, Des. So it's going to cost us.
That's a beautiful thing.
3 lots of $5.50 tickets.
Have you told him he's got to go vegan for a week to collect that?
Yeah, that's
we'll get him some edibles for the day. You can catch it that way.
Oh, I tell you what, talking about coming into form at the right time and returning.
It's like you're talking about edibles.
Not edibles. Definitely not edibles. Hell no. Returning to football, Everton. Seem to be coming back into form. It's going to really upset our show mate Natalie. Because Burnley dragged right back into it again with Leeds.
Their heads up with Leeds now, right? I mean, that's
very close. I don't know what both of their running games are, but I think 2 games each, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, really, Burnley's home game against Villa at the weekend was one of those.
It's huge.
Kind of went, if they'd won,
huge.
If they'd got to take that, would have been good. But they got absolutely.
And they've got to play Villa again.
They've got Villa again midweek.
And away at Tottenham, which is
away at Tottenham, and then they end. Is it final game of the season? I think they're home to Newcastle. I think.
Yeah, they got 3 left, haven't
they? I think Burnley are home to Newcastle.
I'd fancy Burnley. I'd fancy Burnley in that one.
To beat Newcastle last game of the season at home.
Stay up.
Yeah,
Leeds have got like Brentford, haven't they? And it's not looking great, but fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for them. Absolutely.
I already want Burnley to stay up because Natalie's doing all the media stuff. And
it's been brilliant.
You kind of get the sense that she might do a bit less media stuff if Burnley aren't in the league anymore. So
be a great shame.
And it's one of those where you kind of go, although, I must admit, when Bournemouth got relegated, I did kind of feel, well, they're not going to come back up. But they have done. It's taken 2 years and they're back up. So it's very easy to say, well, a club like Burnley, once they go down, won't come back up. But at Burnley, are they that much different than a Fulham and a Norwich and that seem to kind of yo-yo clubs that do it? Potentially they could. Maybe relegation isn't the end of the world completely, but then you also see plenty of sides that once they fall out of the Premier League, it's just an onward trajectory down the leagues. Unfortunately, you look at the likes of Portsmouth and
Stoke and
Sunderland and what was
Sunderland.
The other
good
week
example.
I said, is it who got relegated from the Football League? Is it
Oldham. Oldham got all the way.
Oldham, the first Premier League side to be relegated from the Football League. It's quite scary how it can happen if you've.
Bradford are still in our division in League Two. There's plenty that have plummeted a long way.
Yeah. Okay. So Leeds' last 3 games, guys: Brighton, Chelsea at home, Brentford away. So not that easy. I mean, Brentford had a good result at
Chelsea,
home last
Chelsea,
weekend.
You wouldn't think they're going to get anything from it. If Brighton play the way they did at the weekend, I mean, as bad as United were at the weekend, Brighton were.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And going to Brentford will not be easy either. So, and I think both from memory, both Burnley and Leeds sat on 34 points. You'd have thought 35-36 might be enough to keep you up, but they could both easily hit that.
But
they might
Burnley
have to hit
also
that.
got the goal difference over Leeds.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I say I'm of the view, if it might be that they both win one, that could be it. And that'll be enough to keep Burnley up. That's where the interesting thing is going to happen, because I think probably City are going to have the title wrapped up before the last game of the season, probably.
Yeah, I'd have thought so.
I think the top four will be done by then as well. I think so. It could be that it's the relegation that goes right down to the wire.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
Mighty Wrexham, Leigh, looks like they're coming back up. They beat conference leaders Stockport
but I don't think
today.
they are, though, Des, because they've got Wrexham have got one more game to play. Stockport have still got a game in hand, and they're level on points.
Yep.
So although they absolutely thumped them 3-0 today, the reality of it is that probably Stockport
The top two get promoted, though.
No, it
so,
isn't. No, that's not how it works.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
No,
it's one plus playoffs.
One gets
promoted.
Really? Yeah, one gets promoted. Then they do a slightly different playoff system. So the second and third are guaranteed into the playoff semi-finals, and then the next four play off as to who's going to play them. So it's a bit more. So it's I think it's the top,
you're right. You're
I think it's the six after the champions are in the playoffs effectively. So
okay, Solihull, Halifax, Notts County, Grimsby, and Chesterfield all in the running there.
Yeah.
So okay, hadn't realised that. I thought top two went up effectively.
No, it isn't. So obviously Stockport can still throw it away. Because they've still got to get 4 points in their last two games.
I have to say, I saw the first 20 minutes of that game earlier on today. I thought Stockport were much better than Wrexham, but obviously I stopped watching and it changed.
I'm on slightly shaky ground because my wife's from Wrexham and my brothers-in-law go to the games, and but I don't want them to go up. I don't like, just right the way through the whole football pyramid. I just don't like teams buying success with rich benefactors.
Yeah.
But then that's probably just because my team has never had one, so maybe it's just jealous.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about,
do you think with those guys it feels slightly different, and it's not just someone they've gone in with a.
Oh yeah, no, their heart's always been in town in North Wales. Yeah, they're doing it for the love of it. Yeah.
So why do you think they chose Wrexham then?
Don't get me wrong; it's completely random.
I'd say it's the history. I'd say it's the history of the ground. To be honest, I would say it's to be able to say, look, we own a club with one of the oldest, if not the oldest, ground in Britain.
Yeah,
it could be something as flaky as that.
Why would you choose? If they've just gone in because they're trying to buy success, you probably wouldn't choose.
They've got their catchment area is half a country. Right? They're not.
No, it's true.
They're not surrounded by other massive clubs like we are, and like loads of clubs are. So if you can't tap into the whole of North Wales, then where are you going to get fans from? But,
and you have to say, looking at Wrexham's results over the last 10 years, they've always been there or thereabouts in terms of getting out of that league. I mean, sometimes it's just insane that they haven't been able to get out of that league. Yeah. But I hope they do come up. So Simon,
their financial position has been much worse off in the past, and I'm glad they
they've been
bust altogether. There were all sorts of financial irregularities. They had that guy, I can't remember his name, who was basically a crook who owned them for a long time. So I'm glad they're at the other side of that.
The university had to buy them, right? The university and the fans took them over.
And the stadium was it Newey?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Northeast Wales Institute or something like that.
Yeah, Gweedore, something like that, right? The university. The Oracle is out there, and he says numbers, teams 2 to 7 go into the playoffs. They're all one-off games. Mr. Bailey is out there. Frank, good luck, Paul, in the WCOAP team event. Have you got many fans? Have you got many fans? Simon goes on to say, shithole, though. I think he's back to Man United. Have we gone back to Man United again?
I think he's more likely about Wrexham.
While Simon's in the chat, I want to know. We want to know his views on Forest. I mean, is this going to be the year? It's obviously got to be playoffs now. But those championship playoffs look super tough, don't they?
Luton are in there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Net
So you've
net
got
spend of
Sheffield,
1.6 million this year.
Huddersfield, Sheffield United, Forest, and Luton.
I'd quite like to see Forest come up.
Yeah, I would as well.
Great old, first division sort of, history there. European Cup winners, of course, twice.
We'll be interested to know what Simon thinks, whether if Forest did go up. I mean, I don't know what their finances are as to, have they then got the, the backing to be able to invest and
straight back down,
do something,
or
is it a straight back down job?
Simon is gutted that they're not playing Luton. So I don't know who Forest, which of the teams they've drawn, but they're not playing Luton.
They were third for a long time.
Yeah.
They've ended up now fourth.
So they're playing the team who was third.
So they play the team that are fifth. So they're playing Sheffield United in the semi-finals, and then it's Huddersfield against Luton in the other one.
Okay.
So
it'll be a tough game then.
I was hanging on for the end of this, but the stacks are pretty even again now, so I might bid you a fond farewell.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Paul, and announcing the England team, and looking forward to seeing you in Nottingham for what will be a great 5 days of poker. So
I'll go and spend my dollars.
Excellent.
Too right. Well thanks a lot, Paul. Have a cracking week.
Cheers, Paul.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. There's Paul. Going off to spend his dollars straight onto Amazon. What do you think he's buying, Lee?
Well, for anyone that's just joining us late, and so great, Paul just announced his England team, but had a good night tonight. Won the main event for $746 and finished fourth in the PLO main event for 110. So I'm assuming he would have just bought directly in for both of those. So he's cleared about $800 tonight. So
that's all right. That's
nice.
Not
bad at all.
$800, you could buy a striker in the conference.
Yeah, you get a half decent one, I reckon, for that money.
That's right.
Fine. Yeah. So the
assignment.
The Sunday Turbo Knockouts just concluded. Tyler Arden from Canada has picked up the win there, beating Eugenie Draxler-Corum from Germany into second place. So well done to those guys. We're just waiting for the conclusion of this PLO, and I can then 100% confirm the leaderboard ladders for the week. Yeah. But as I mentioned earlier on, I think I'm pretty convinced I already know who's going to be at the top, and it is going to be Peter Wigglesworth.
A good result for Mr. Wigglesworth.
Yeah.
And Lee, a great tournament in Malta last week. Yes. One Mr. Alcantara, a name that I like very much, ended up winning the APAT event out there, and it seems like the whole festival was a raging success.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the numbers were superb. The feedback from the players was amazing. Tom said everyone had an absolutely brilliant time. Lovely to see Yvonne posting up what will have been a crazy couple of weeks for her. Absolutely exhausted. She put so much effort into that festival, and I'd strongly recommend if you fancy in the autumn, getting for a bit of sunshine and playing a little bit of poker, then the Malta Poker Festival in the autumn. There'll be another APAT event attached to that as well. Strongly recommend getting over there. I'm really going to try and head out there this autumn myself, and just go and have a week in Malta, because it looks fantastic.
Yeah. Triplin question, Lee. Are the live WCOAP dates definitely set in stone? I know guys who were saying they couldn't play the heads up online and then the main live as they clash.
Yeah, they are absolutely set in stone as far as I'm aware. Now, somebody did ask the question in the group, and Tom will come back to you on that. Obviously, he was in Malta last week, so he needs to just go back through and clarify some of those. They're just looking to confirm what the situation is going to be regarding, the ability to multi-table, or if you're in the heads up, or what the situation is going to be. We are aware that one does clash. It's 5 days of poker and trying to fit in as much as we can, and ultimately there is always going to be some crossover. It's impossible for that not to be the case. But Tom will confirm once he's just talked to the venue about exactly what their rules are on what they will allow. We'll try and be as flexible as we can, but ultimately we can't do anything more than Dust or Dawn are actually allowed to do from their point of view. So as soon as we know that, we will let you know.
Yeah. Well said. Simon says, nice week on leaderboard, Peter Wigglesworth, which indeed it was.
Yeah, so well done to Peter. He actually cashed in 5 tournaments in the end, so well done to him. And I think I can pretty much confirm the top 5 actually. I don't think the 2 that are playing are going to change either of those. So Richard Rudling Smith is going to finish in 2nd. He's a step 5er. Matthias Dieters from Germany is going to finish in 3rd. He's a step 5er as well, as is Tony Ross in 4th. So we've taken a bit of a beating there in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. But Mr. Haycock has saved us in 5th place. He's his 2 cashes tonight gets him into 5th on the leaderboard in the end, Des.
Wow,
so you said
nice
it might
going.
be a top 20 finish. Well, it's more than that. So Paul will pick up a couple of $5.50 tickets to add to his nice bit of cash from tonight as well, just as that PLO was concluded.
Yeah.
And it was Tommy G from Ireland, Des, who...
it's a great Irish name, Tommy G.
Who does the biz in the end for us and takes that one down. So well done to him to conclude the week. It was Colin Joe finishing 2nd from Canada. So that doesn't change anything, say, on the leaderboard. Other than that, once we get 6th right the way down to 20th, they're all step 1s and step 2s, but I'll give a couple of name checks. Jay White's in there. Melanie Harrop is in the... Melanie only had 1 cash this week, but it was a decent cash.
Nice one.
Got
yeah,
an 8
nice one.
on the leaderboard, so well done to her. Koen de Pap from Belgium had a couple of cashes this week. Aaron Swasland had a couple of cashes as well. And just scraping in 20th place. Oh, actually, Sarah Chadwick had 2 cashes this week, so well done to Sarah. In 20th place, making it in there, a couple of cashes this week. 1 Billy Johnston sneaks in with a ticket and moves up to step 2 for next week.
Nice job. And just in the chat box, Lee, Peter, of course, our numero uno this week, even took a night off to be bad beaten in the Portsmouth 25-25. So unlucky down there. And Triplin says, Jimmy, so we're talking about Jimmy White, loses the deciding frame to Lee Walker in the Seniors World Snooker Championship. So, well, I mean, to be honest, yeah, Jimmy's used to this. He's used to finishing 2nd in the World Championship finals. Very used to it. He has his birthday early in May as well, Jimmy White. It's well known. So that's us, I think, Lee. I don't know if there's anything else that we want to add.
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, the technology held, Des. So I don't.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty impressive.
I hope you've been okay for the last hour and a half. I don't know what you've been keeping yourself busy and entertained. Not having to press any buttons. So
I've been trying. So Lee has been pressing all of the buttons tonight, guys. Did a fine job of it. Absolutely no issues at all. First time in what, two and a bit years that Lee's been pressing the buttons back there, and it's worked out very, very well. So thank you, Lee. I don't
know what Des has been moaning about all this time. Like claiming it's like difficult or something.
Moan. I'm like a maestro here. I'm like a maestro. So thank you to all of you guys who played with us this week. Good luck to everybody who is playing next week. Lee and I shall be back at the normal time, Sunday, 10 p.m. Do not miss it. So until then, have a great week, guys. Ciao, ciao.